reversible and irreversible phenomena. The link with the centers of emotion is considerably weaker in this third system compared with the stronger links of the two previous ones. Strong emotions, such as anger or jealousy, interfere with the operation of this new delicate system and confuse thought. But thought that is not connected to feeling at all is not connected to reality. Cerebration itself is uncommitted or neutral and can deal equally well with contradictory statements. In order to select a thought, there must at least be the feeling that the thought is right, that it corresponds to reality. The rightness in this case is, of course, a subjective reality. When right objectively corresponds to reality, the thought will be of general human value. Cerebration alone cannot decide between the two statements, "It is possible to get to the moon," and "It is not possible to get to the moon." The experience of reality alone endows a thought with the property of right. For many generations, reality disproved the former statement, and to live on the moon was said to indicate that the speaker's mind is divorced from reality. Where pure cerebration is concerned, most processes could as easily be reversible as non-reversible. In reality, the great majority of processes are irreversible. A match that has been struck and burned cannot revert back to a match. A tree cannot revert back to a sapling. Processes connected with time are irreversible because time itself is irreversible. Indeed, few processes of any kind are reversible. That is, can retrace their steps so that the condition that existed before the process took place is restored. Cerebration not connected with reality does not constitute thought, any more than random muscular contractions constitute action or movement. The delay between thought and action is the basis for awareness. The nerve paths in the third brain system are longer and more elaborate than in the two older systems. Most of the operations of the third system are carried out through the agency of the other two, although there are paths for the third system to exercise direct control over the executing mechanisms. The indirect process causes delay in the action itself, so that think first, act later is not just a saying. There is a delay between what is engendered in the supralimbic system and its execution by the body. This delay between a thought process and its translation into action is long enough to make it possible to inhibit it. This possibility of creating the image of an action and then delaying its execution, postponing it or preventing it altogether, is the basis of imagination and intellectual judgment. Most of the actions of this system are carried out by the older systems, and their speed is limited to that of the older ones. Thus, for instance, it is not possible to apprehend the meaning of printed matter faster than the eye can travel across the page to read it. Thought cannot be expressed more quickly than it can be pronounced in words. It follows that faster reading and faster expression are one of the means to faster thinking. The possibility of a pause between the creation of the thought pattern for any particular action and the execution of that pattern is the physical basis for awareness. This pause makes it possible to examine what is happening within us at the moment when the intention to act is formed, as well as when it is carried out. The possibility of delaying action, prolonging the period between the intention and its execution, enables man to learn to know himself. And there is much to know, for the systems that carry out our internal drives act automatically, as they do in the rest of the higher animals. Doing does not mean knowing. The execution of an action by no means proves that we know, even superficially, what we are doing or how we are doing it. If we attempt to carry out an action with awareness, that is, to follow it in detail, we soon discover that even the simplest and most common of actions, such as getting up from a chair, is a mystery, and that we have no idea at all of how it is done. Do we contract the muscles of the stomach or of the back? Do we tense the legs first or tilt the body forward first? What do the eyes do or the head? It is easy to demonstrate that man does not know what he is doing, right down to being unable to rise from a chair. He therefore has no choice but to return to his accustomed method, which is to give himself the order to get up and leave it to the specialized organizations within himself to carry out the action as it pleases them, which means as he usually does. We may thus learn that self-knowledge does not come without considerable effort and can even interfere with the carrying out of actions. Thought and the intellect that knows are the enemies of automatic habitual action. This fact is illustrated in the old story of the centipede who forgot how to walk after he had been asked in what order he moved all his multitude of legs. Awareness fits action to intention. It is often enough for a man who is doing something to simply ask himself what he is doing in order for him to become confused and unable to continue. In such a case, he has suddenly realized that the performance of his action does not really correspond to what he thought he was doing. Without awakened awareness, we perform what the older brain systems do in their own way, even though the intention to act came from the higher third system. Moreover, the action often enough proves to be the exact opposite of the original intention. This happens when the intention to act comes from the higher system, whose link with the emotions is weak and triggers into action the lower systems, which have much stronger links with the emotions because of the greater speed and also shortens delay between intention and performance. In such cases, the faster automatic and quicker action of the lower brain systems causes that part of the action that is related to more intense feeling to be carried out almost immediately, while the part that relates to thought, coming from the higher system, will come in slowly when the action is almost completed or even over. Most slips of the tongue arise in this fashion. Awareness is not essential to life. The two older systems, the rhynic and the limbic, are harmoniously adjusted to each other in most people. These two systems can satisfy essential human needs and perform all man's actions, including those we attribute to intelligence. Even social life is not impossible without the supralimbic system, as highly developed as it is in the human animal. Bees, ants, monkeys, and herd animals live in social systems without awareness. Some of these social systems are fairly elaborate and involve most of the basic functions of human society: the care of the younger generation, rule by a king, wars with neighbors, defense of the home territory, the exploitation of slaves, and other joint actions. Awareness as a new stage in evolution. The upper system, which is more highly developed in man than in any other animal, makes awareness possible. That is, recognition of organic needs and the selection of means for their satisfaction. Thanks to the nature of this system, awareness gives us the capacity for judgment, differentiation, generalization, the capacity for abstract thought, imagination, and much more. Awareness of our organic drives is the basis of man's self-knowledge. Awareness of the relationship between these impulses and their origin in the formation of human culture offers man the potential means to direct his life, which few people have yet realized. I believe that we are living in a historically brief transition period that heralds the emergence of the truly human man. Okay, so that was the chapter called Structure and Function, and I'll do another video soon with some commentary to help maybe parse some of those words for you and give you a sense of how these concepts relate directly to the practice of the Feldenkrais method. Thanks again for watching, and once again, if you have questions or comments on any of these videos, please do put them below and I will respond. Please share these videos if you know someone who could benefit from the Feldenkrais method, or maybe already practices the method but would like to have a deeper understanding of what it is just beyond the basic surface understanding that it is a movement practice, which is kind of a common way that the method is understood in the world. Hopefully these readings are helping you see it's much, much more. Anyways, I'll be back soon, and take care.